This is Punk Rock and Politics, and today is July 18th, 2017, and this is episode number 31. Let's do this.
These days are strange, it's true.
I would bomb the shit out of them.
If you think that punk rock doesn't mix with politics, you're wrong.
Welcome to Punk Rock and Politics. Today we'll be talking to singer-songwriter Mitch Ness about libertarianism within the punk rock scene, Trump's Midwestern appeal, and a look back on the 2016 election. Then on Open Mic's Last Call, we'll wrap up the episode quickly talking about the podcast and its future. So, let's get to the political mosh pit. But first, here's the news of the week.
Here's what's making news.
You better do a good job, please. Otherwise, you're going to make me look very bad.
President Trump went to Paris to meet with France's recently elected president, Emmanuel Macron. The two seemed to get along despite the fact Macron ran on an anti-Trump platform. Here's some audio from their press conference.
You've mentioned a friend, Jim. We told you that Paris is no longer Paris. You were implying at the time that Paris was not safe anymore. You've also said that France and Germany are infected by terrorism and, quote, it's their fault because they let people enter their territory. Those are very strong words. Would you repeat them today? And do you still believe that France is not able to fight terrorism on its own territory? Thank you.
You better let me answer that one first. That's a beauty. He's the one that asked the question. That wasn't even one of my picks. You know what? It's going to be just fine because you have a great president. You have somebody that's going to run this country right. And I would be willing to bet, because I think this is one of the great cities, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And you have a great leader now. You have a great president. You have a tough president. He's not going to be easy on people that are breaking the laws and people that show this tremendous violence. So I really have a feeling that you're going to have a very, very peaceful and beautiful Paris. And I'm coming back. You better do a good job, please. Otherwise, you're going to make me look very bad.
President Trump was also asked about his son Don Jr.'s meeting with a Russian lawyer in order to get opposition research on Hillary Clinton during the 2016 presidential election.
I have a son who's a great young man. He's a fine person. He took a meeting with a lawyer from Russia. It lasted for a very short period, and nothing came of the meeting. And I think it's a meeting that most people in politics probably would have taken. Mr. President?
Yes, to answer your question, I will not interfere in U.S. domestic policy, and I think it's always good between partners and allies not to interfere in the other's domestic life.
What a good answer that is.
The Senate will delay debate on the health care bill until Senator John McCain returns from surgery. Or maybe it's just another excuse to push back the vote on a bill that has absolutely no chance of passing. On this day in rock history, July 18th, 1988, singer, songwriter, and keyboard player Nico from the band The Velvet Underground died at the age of 49 after suffering a minor heart attack. Her music, as well as her fashion designs, still to this day inspire new artists and live on. Rest in peace, Nico. And that's the news of the week! Here on the Punk Rock and Politics podcast, I always encourage debate and civil dialogue between people who may not agree politically. And that's why I'm so excited to present today's featured artist, Mitch Ness. Mitch is a singer-songwriter from Howell, Michigan. Mitch is an interesting musician because he doesn't let labels define him. All of his songs have a unique quality while still holding up overall and connecting with a subtle tone. His lyrics can be abrasive, funny, or serious, and I think that's one of the attributes that make listening to his music so enjoyable. And when Mitch isn't writing music and playing live, he's recording political commentary on his YouTube channel. So, needless to say, we had a great conversation. But before we get to the interview, let's hear one of his songs. Here's Throw You Away by Mitch Ness.
It's not a yes or nothing. Listen, I don't care either way. I can take you, I can leave you, I can throw you away. You tried to make me want you more, and I'll admit at first it worked, but then I got bored. I'm not playing games for some half-pretty face, when I knew I should have swerved in the first place. Whoops. It's not a yes or nothing. Listen, I don't care either way. I can take you, I can leave you, I can throw you away. It's not a yes or nothing. Listen, I don't care either way. I can take you, I can leave you, I can throw you away. Don't get me wrong, it could be much worse, and overestimating the time that you're worth. Back when I didn't know what to do, and for lack of other women, I was stuck on you. But I'm not going out of my way to impress second best. I'm not that interested, girl. And soon any feeling left will fade away, okay? It's not a yes or nothing. Listen, I don't care either way. I can take you, I can leave you, I can throw you away. It's not a yes or nothing. Listen, I don't care either way. I can take you, I can leave you, I can throw you away. I can throw you away. I can throw you away.
And that was Throw You Away by Mitch Ness. And I actually have Mitch Ness here on the Punk Rock and Politics podcast. What's up, Mitch?
Hey, how's it going, Michael? Really good to be here. Really good.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's really good to hear you or have you here and then hear your music. It's definitely an interesting collection of songs that we're going to go over for the podcast here.
Yeah, I wanted to, when I was thinking of what songs to have you play, I wanted to throw in like some diversity. I didn't want it to be all political either. You know, I wanted to have some diverse tunes to showcase there. So yeah. That's always good. I love doing that, whether it's with like an individual band or a musician or just on the podcast in general, having all different types of music and musicians on. So it's awesome to have you here. So you are located in Howell, Michigan. So like, how's the music scene over there? Well, in Howell, so in Livingston County here, I'm about an hour and a half northwest of Detroit, about 35 minutes north of Ann Arbor, and about 30 minutes east of Lansing. Okay. So in the town I live in, I'm still exploring. I moved here last summer. I'm originally from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We're talking real small town. Right. I graduated with the class of frickin' 40 kids. Right.
Oh wow.
So
wow.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's
so
small.
Moving to Howell was like the big city for me, but I've been branching out. I haven't even gotten any shows, right? I was happy because I just listened to your podcast with, what was the guy's name? William Cutting or something from Madison.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I love what you do here because you got bands that like like Fossil Youth. Like Fossil Youth was a band I just discovered a week ago when I heard Swordfish on NPR, if you've heard of them. They're from Ann Arbor. And I went and looked them up, and I found Fossil Youth on their record label as well. And then I saw them on your podcast. I was like, wow, that's awesome. That's an established band touring, has a fan base. And then you still open up and have guys like me or guys like Cutting on who really have no establishment to speak of, and I think that's really cool. I think that's awesome.
Definitely. It's I totally can relate to musicians such as yourself, or like William, like you're saying before, because whether you're in an established band and doing good and touring, or you're kind of in between, or you're just starting. I mean, we're all musicians. As long as we have some music to play here, and as long as we have like a opinion on something, I'm totally glad to have people on. So we totally it's great to have you on. And yeah, definitely another shout out to William, man. That guy, he was a character. That was a really fun interview.
Yeah, I love listening to that. I was listening to a bunch of your podcasts here, just like preparing, getting into feeling how it is. So
cool.
Really, yeah, just got to say again, really like what you do.
Awesome.
But yeah, a little bit like Howell, very upper middle class kind of area. So just trying to get out there, playing at bars and stuff. Like I'm in that zone where I've been recording since I was 11 years old, right?
Oh, wow.
Me and my buddy, we spent our allowances on mixer boards and a couple crappy mics, and set up in the basement recording on his old youth PDP set and my Fender Starcaster kind of deal. But been doing that for a long time, and in high school, I guess I kind of branched out and kind of started doing my stuff. I have 2 kind of self-produced EPs, 5 and 7 songs on it respectively, but I felt like there wasn't a lot of room to grow up where I'm from. There's not a lot of opportunity. You can go north to the biggest town up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is Marquette there, and music scene's kind of blooming up there, but still I wanted to get down somewhere where it was closer. So now I can drive to Nashville just as quick as I can drive back to my hometown, so I like that.
Oh geez, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize it was that far. Michigan was that large.
Yeah, I like to call it Southern Canada. That's
I know, right? Because it essentially is. But where you are located now, you're saying you're very centrally located. So I suppose even if there aren't shows, in your home city where you're located right now, you can always drive, north or south or east, and there's something there. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I get to go around, and right now I'm still on the stage. I'll play on the street. I'll have a little carton of my CDs in little homemade cases written on them. Go to the website here. And I hand them out for free. Same thing, just social media. Where the closest form of success is one more like on the page. One more follow, one more kind of deal like that. And I go around like. I had went to Indianapolis last weekend to see Joe Rogan on his Strange Times tour, and I played on the street down there and handed out some CDs.
Wow.
Just anywhere I go, just try to that's
really cool. That's that you actually do that, because nowadays I think bands, we have to focus on the internet and internet promotion, but I think that loses so much of that physical promotion. Actually, some guy approached me the other day, and he was kind of like, "Hey, who's your favorite hip hop artist?" I was like, I don't know, like Tupac, and he's like, "Yo, you want to hear me rap? I sound like Tupac." I'm like, and so he rapped, and he's like, "Yo, you want to pitch me $1 for like my rap?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, whatever," because I'm like, man, you're out there showcasing a skill opposed to just like having a sign being like, "Yo, give me money, I'm hungry," So
exactly.
Yeah, I was like, that's fucking cool, man. I was like, "Are you online?" And he gave me his website. I went. It wasn't my style of music, but I went and checked him out anyways. And I'm like, dude, like, you got to give that guy massive props. So that's really cool how you're out there playing. So here's definitely let's go into one more song, which I could envision you playing on a street corner. So here's let's check out one more song, and then we'll come back to the political mosh pit. So here's Trumper Sticker by Mitch Ness.
Here we go right now. 2, 3, 4. Shit's whack, attack where the track at. Love being the fat kid they laugh at. Love being a redneck that can't rap. Fucking sick, I got a Trump sticker on my minivan. I get it, man. Peace, love, fuck, war. 2017, what the fuck you gotta fight for? Sit back, relax in the first world. Swipe left, swipe right for a new girl. Lean left, you impress the professor. Lean right, you're a racist oppressor. A rat pack, spoil brats on a mission. Bitchin' about the price of tuition. Straight take a shit, I deserve a free ride. I graduated high school and all I did was get high. Safe space and the vibe is cathartic. verdict when I grow up, Dad. I wanna be a Marxist. Fake news at the click of a button. From this view, you can smell the corruption. Hollywood will push the agenda. Speak my mind, I don't want to offend ya. Cherry pick the statistics you're right to. Vote on who the rules still apply to. Nothing more sacred than the amendments. The first is forever, give a fuck about the second. It's pretty sick how widespread the lie is. Picket signs to the media bias. Kill cops and organize a riot. This, kids, is hypocrisy at its finest. Kids bred by the media christened, softened in the bubbles we live in. Lied to by our own education. History of a PC nation. Progress is a term of perspective made up in the midst of election. Guilt trip for the good that we have it. Cup overfloweth with the rich and the lavish. Color's the reflection of light, and you should feel bad for the fact that you're white. There once was a time it was all alright, but when people get bored, people get into fights. Yes, and isn't a social warrior, bitches. Oh my god, can you believe what a fucking bigot the bitches? Out of place in a strange generation. Eyes peel back for any sign of hatred. Love is a key for a world that's free, but if you disagree, get the fuck away from me. Sticks and stones are a part of the past, cause words are enough to put these kids in a cast. Peace, love, neither one of them can last. One of many lessons of humanity's past, and I don't give a fuck what they tell you in class. Kiss my fat white male blue collar ass. It's pretty sick how widespread the lie is. Picket signs to the media bias. Kill cops and organize a riot. This, kids, is hypocrisy at its finest.
That's intolerant. You're ignorant. Huh.
Yep. Fuck.
And that was Trumper Sicker by Mitch Ness. So Mitch, like, that was a really interesting song, and again, totally different style. You know, you throwing a little rap down there. So, but after hearing that song, man, like, and reading the lyrics, that's all on the Bandcamp page, I couldn't really tell. Are you a Trump supporter or not a Trump supporter?
I am very pleased by your reaction to that song, because I was hoping that would kind of lead to that type of enigmatic, I guess, conclusion. I voted for Trump, and during the election, I was a big Trump supporter. I even had like a little political blog, video blog kind of deal where every week, you know, during the election, as it is now, still, like every other day, you'd have another controversy going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you'd have the main, you know, you'd have the quote unquote mainstream media, and then you'd have the alternative media and news outlets. They're all going at it, and everyone's yelling, and people are getting fired and shit canned left and right, and, you know, pissed off all over the place. And I wanted, when I did that, the political correctness, it was called, you can still look that up, but I just wanted to bring a common sense perspective to so many of the issues that we were talking about. So yeah, short answer, yeah, I Trump supporter.
Wow, yeah. No, I mean, definitely the song, it's kind of, it either could be kind of like a serious type thing, or you're kind of, you know, joking around, being sarcastic. So, you know, yeah it's definitely kind of up for interpretation. And then it's so funny, I'm going to reference back to the William Cutting show with, you know, from the Pikers and Pariah State, is basically because he's out in Wisconsin, and he's kind of like that swing voter who voted for Trump, and then you're out in Michigan, which those are other than Pennsylvania, those are two of the prime states that actually got Trump into office. So it's kind of interesting, that you guys are kind of the type of voter and the swing voter that got Trump in there. So I always find it fascinating to talk to people with your perspective, because I'm like a lefty Bernie guy. However, I do hate the news and how they're calling everything fake news, and you know, trying to basically paint every Trump supporter as a racist, and I just don't agree with that. I mean, I'm sure you feel that, correct?
Oh,
right?
Totally. Yeah. Well, then, so that's where that's in the Trumper Sticker song that came in, and before I go into that, I want to say, if Trump wasn't running on the Republican ticket for the 2016 election, I would have voted Bernie Sanders, no question about it, because just you know, because of his attitude. I want to call myself a libertarian, but I'll probably piss some people off here. I just did not see Gary Johnson as being very effective or just literate on the issues.
No,
but that's a
yeah.
whole that's
a whole nother
thing.
podcast. Basically, to sum up Gary Johnson, he's a Republican light. I mean, he's not an actual libertarian, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
if he was running on the Republican ticket, you know, he would be like another, Rick Perry or something. you
Yeah,
know,
he'd be the average guy.
Yeah, I mean, he would probably do a little bit better. He'd probably have like Rand Paul's base because he's like pro marijuana type Republican,
Yeah.
that's the only real claim to fame he has to libertarianism. But definitely, I think the libertarian idea is huge, and especially after I've been doing this podcast for about 6 months, I'm starting to identify with a lot of the tendencies that the libertarian movement has. And I think punk rock in general, and originally the music and the culture, really has a lot of libertarian anti-authority streak to it that's been lost. I don't know. Have you seen that?
I totally agree with you, and that was one of the things that floored me, got me so riled up during the 2016 election. It was, we grew up, you know, we're angsty teenagers, whatever. I grew up with my friends, you know, I grew up with these people I know. I grew up with this music I love. These, you know, I grew up with Green Day, grew up with the, you know, and these kind of contemporary punk rock and pop punk kind of bands, and we got to this point where the 2016 election comes around. And during the primaries, it's like, whatever. There's Bernie and Hillary. So I was like, okay, I'm clearly going to be, I think I'm going to be voting Republican. No, I'm going to be voting Bernie. Oh, wait, no, okay, there's Trump here. Okay, I'm going to give this guy a shot because simply I kind of started out, it was like almost like a right kind of minded anarchistic view where it was like, dude, if Trump can't change something, then absolutely no one can. And if it goes well, then that's great. And if it all goes down in flames in the next counting 2.5, 3 years, I think that's better for everyone anyway.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Trump is kind of like a Molotov cocktail vote. You're just fucking like lighting them and throwing it in there.
And that's what I didn't get. That's what I didn't get about so much of the thing, because isn't that what the kind of the revolt, the spirit of punk rock and of our kind of generation is supposed to be? It's supposed to be, hey, fuck you, you know, we the system, fuck the system and everything. And when people start telling me, well, you know, I'm voting for Hillary, and to a certain extent to Bernie, I was like, if you really believed the kind of stuff you're talking about around the campfire, you know, you're talking about at the bar, you'd probably vote for Trump. I didn't get it, you know, because people, they talk a big game about how the government's corrupt, about how shit's corrupt. And then when it comes down to it, it seemed to me that a lot of people were too scared either of the outcome or of what people would think about them for, voting for someone like Donald Trump.
Or openly voicing their support. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, Trump did have 62 million people voted for him.
Yeah.
And then another thing, like you're saying, musicians, like just recently, Fat Mike was like going on a Twitter tirade. He was all drunk or something, but he was posting pictures of, and dude, Fat Mike and NoFX are like one of my heroes. And like The Decline is one of my ultimate favorite albums of all time. But and then Fat Mike is posting pictures of Hillary Clinton being like, she's a hero. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
What
I'm
is
like,
happening
Hillary,
to the world?
yeah, dude, what the fuck? You're like, remember the song Murder the Government, dude? Like, what happened to you, Fat Mike? What happened? Now you're like worshiping Hillary. It's like,
I know.
like him taking a bat to the Trump statue, like that's totally cool in punk rock on stage when they did that at the bowling, but they should also have a fucking Hillary statue, and, you know, to be fair, a Bernie statue, and break them all down. But
exactly
to kind of like summarize why I think Bernie is slightly superior to Trump for like the punk-minded community to support, because Trump, he is a Molotov cocktail and he is a fuck you vote and a destroy the system vote. But however, he's going to destroy the system and it will benefit the corporate elite and the, you know, the top 1%. Whereas if Bernie gets in there, yes, it's more socialism, it's more government control. However, the real beneficiaries of that control will be, you know, the people, you know, more people. And then as Hillary, it's just more government control, more of the negative government, but then the corporate elite wins. So Hillary is just all around the worst, you know, totally the worst. But Trump, I see the appeal, and I hate that my left friends, all my friends on the left always, oh, you're a Trump supporter, oh, you're a racist. It's like, dude, they're not racist because they fucking support Trump, you know, and that's what's creating this divide.
Well, that's what I thought when once Hillary... it was clear as day to me to see just how rigged the Democratic primary was for Hillary.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my God, it was clear as day.
Yeah.
And when Bernie lost, I told, 90% of my friends were Bernie supporters, and we'd have, our friendly debates about it during the primaries and the rest of the election. But I told them, Bernie just lost in a clearly rigged election. And now you're telling me that just because mainstream media is calling Trump and Trump supporters racist and xenophobes and whatever, you're going to vote for Hillary now in the general election to make her the most powerful person in Western civilization, because Trump has been called a xenophobe on CNN and MSN, or because he said some inflammatory things. And that's another thing I want to say, because I want to delve into the psychology of voting. One of the things that I liked about Trump, and I guess it's just an opinion matter to me, but I think he knows exactly what he's doing every time his fingers hit that keyboard to tweet something out. Every time he said something inflammatory on that campaign trail. Think about it. He's
still doing it. He's still doing that. Yeah.
And spent how much less money than the Democrats in general.
Oh, God.
Got how much more media coverage and still won the election on negative press. It's an old adage, any press is good press. That's an old, that adage is as old as the press itself. So I just didn't understand what was so hard to see through that. It was like, yeah, dude, this guy's saying he's fucking shit because we're fucking tuning in to watch it. And I couldn't help but respect that just a little bit. It's like you're gaming the system. It's kind of fucking shady, but at the same time, it's like you're fucking going for it.
Yeah. You're saying so much crazy things that the news, they would literally, if he had a speech, they would film his speech and air it live on every fucking channel, the entire speech or most of the speech, which if they did that for Bernie Sanders or Ron Paul back in the day, or even Rand, I mean, if they did that shit for like Ron Paul, like, dude, there would have been a revolution by now. But, but the news media didn't. They did it for Trump because they gave him ratings, and because we know, like you said, the rigged election, we know now because of WikiLeaks that basically the Democratic Party wanted the media to elevate Trump in the Republican primary because they called it the Pied Piper strategy. And they figured that basically Trump had no way of beating Hillary. So if they elevated him, and then Hillary would be a shoo-in against Trump. So it's like...
And that... Yeah. That's absolutely bonkers to me. Sorry to cut you off. That's
absolutely, it is. No worries. Yeah.
That's absolutely bonkers to me, because to me, just thinking that putting Hillary Clinton into the campaign, into the race for president in 2016 against Trump it's just as crazy as putting freaking what's his name, John McCain against Obama, or freaking Romney against Obama. Who in their right mind thought John McCain or Mitt Romney was going to beat frickin' Barack Obama? The man is an orator, dude. The man can talk, and he can convince. He could sell fucking used cars to a used car salesman. You know what I'm saying? So to fucking think that, and that's the same thing. An establishment fucking character you think is gonna it was clear as day. You could smell it from a mile away. It was a change election, and to put Hillary up against that, even though she won more of the popular vote, that's another thing. Those fuckers on Trump's team. The media said, oh, his campaign is chaotic. Everything's fucking crazy. People are getting fired, dude. They fucking gamed the system. They spent the whole time. Trump said, hey, the election fucking system is rigged. It's fucked up. Everyone said, hey, fuck you, man. Well, he fucking won the election, winning with the Electoral College and not the popular vote. And every Democrat and liberal was like, this is fucking bullshit. Fuck the Electoral College. The system's rigged. And I just thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. And that all kind of boils down into that last line of that chorus in Trumper sticker. This kid's is hypocrisy at its finest. I just thought that.
Oh God, it's such hypocrisy. And then just, I mean, to keep riffing off the 2016 election, because it's just so much happened. When Hillary was supposed to come out and do her like major speech on election night, and then she kept postponing it, and then they sent out fucking Weasley ass John Podesta out there to be like, you guys gotta go home. Hillary, we're gonna keep fighting. I was like, oh man, this looks so bad. And then they were all crying. And me as a Bernie supporter, I checked out. I was like, oh, okay, Hillary stole it from Bernie, so Trump's gonna fucking win. Thanks, guys. Like, I'm out. I'm just gonna watch. I'll vote for Jill Stein, watch on the sidelines, and just watch the fucking fire go down. And like watching all these stupid liberals for 3-4 months, I'm like, dude, Trump's gonna fucking win. And they're like, no, Trump has no chance. I'm like, yeah, Trump's gonna win. And then come election day, they're all crying and like totally shocked. And it's like, really when it comes down to it, it's middle class America that has been fucked for the past 30 years by the hollowing out of these jobs. And you're in Michigan, and you say you're in a middle class town, and but have you ever been to Flint? I know that probably comes up a lot, because I've seen live streams and videos out of there. It looks like a third world country, and they're still and they're still haven't fixed the problem. It's like mind-boggling.
And on that note, too, let me tell you this. Where I'm from, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Has voted it's the psychology of elections, these labels that we put on everything.
Yes.
The Upper Peninsula of Michigan, you go up there, and there's, it's lifted trucks and guys with friggin' arsenals in their basement. And I'm a big gun guy too, right? But, you go up there and it's lifted trucks. It's guys working on fucking tractors and fucking doing this shit. Small towns scattered throughout. Has voted Democrat in state elections for the past 30, 40 fucking years. And I work with a guy named Bob.
Because they're all union, right?
Yeah, exactly. It used to be. He used to be in politics, and he's telling me all about this shit. He's a big libertarian guy. Yeah, it's all the unions and everything. But the thing is they're Democrats, but it's just a label. It's the fucking pro-gun Democrats, anti-abortion Democrats. These labels don't matter. Yep. But then when you get to the national scene, it seems like these fucking labels just run the fucking show. If you're a fucking liberal, you better fucking want to kill every goddamn unborn baby. Fucking shit. If you're a fucking conservative, these fucking people are killing unborn fucking babies, and we gotta fucking stop them. It's fucking crazy. Everyone just needs to like chill out a second and take a common sense fucking perspective and look at everything and realize, hey, it's not that fucking big of a deal, and there's some things that should be fucking common sense. Like, hey, dude, fucking, I don't want to get too riled up here, but I'm pro-gun. I'm pro-gun. Yeah. I'm also pro-abortion. I'm also fucking, what happens, you go and the average person, they say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I'm a conservative Republican, and this is what I believe, and everyone's like, whoa, blah, blah. Or, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I'm a liberal Democrat, and this is what I believe. I go up and I say, hi, I'm Mitch, and this is what I believe. And people are like, and then we'll be talking there, and Mitch over there is a Republican. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? No, I am not. I have some fucking right-leaning tendencies and some left-leaning tendencies, which I think for 90%, maybe less these days, maybe 80% of America shares that same kind of position.
Yeah, and I think it's like you said, it's more of getting wrapped up into this like false dichotomy of like two choices and two labels, and then the people go to these speeches and they basically, they're told, oh, everyone on the other side is racist, everyone on everyone on the other side, they're all socialists and they all want to have complete control of your life. And so you have these two sides. So then when they do approach, they're like, oh man, this guy's a racist, I can't talk to him because then I am validating his racism. And so I just don't see like any common dialogue or civil dialogue that's really coming about that. And what do you see changing this? The news isn't helping.
That I know, changing it, and this is actually a line, from a lot of liberal, way far left Democrats. You see the memes on Facebook. It isn't the politicians, whatever. It's the education system that has produced so many people that want to vote for Trump. No, it's the education system that has produced so many people that just don't know enough about the way their own fucking country works and is run. That has produced people that would vote for people like Trump or Hillary. That has produced those people in general, that has made the fact that these people are at the top of our fucking game here, ready to run our fucking country. That shouldn't have fucking happened. And the thing is, it's because schools and education and media and everything now with the internet and everything, they're not telling people how to think. They're telling kids what to think. You go the standardized testing, the shit you do in fucking school. It's just it's madness. This is how it is. This is what happened. And the next year, a new fucking textbook comes out because hey, it's racist to even talk about the Civil War. So what happened in the Civil War was a bunch of white privileged fucking assholes. It's every year it changes. And who runs education? It's Democrats.
Yeah, well,
that have run education for 40 years, but it's not their fault.
No,
it's not like I'm saying
Yeah.
Like, oh, but like, I love guys like you. Funny to bring this up. You talked about him with what's his name, Cuddlin or
Yeah.
what was his name?
Yeah, cuddling.
yeah.
He's a cuddleable character. I hope he listens to this episode.
I know. I like him. But cutting. You guys mentioned Jordan Peterson. Guys like Jordan Peterson. Guys like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yes.
These are guys that are trying to teach people
and
how to
God
think.
Sad. Have you run across God Sad? He's like a professor. He does the
I've heard the name.
God Report or something, or the Godfather. It's GAD and then SAAD. He's pretty. I mean, he's a right wing anti-social justice, not even anti-social justice. I would just say pro common sense. Which would be he would be labeled as anti-social justice warrior, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I think it also comes back to it's not. First of all, okay, the Democrats. What you're saying, you said there's so much good shit you just said. So the Democrats, they can't take fucking responsibility for why they lost, the actual reason. They keep pushing off election hacking, the election, people are too stupid, they're racist, whatever. They keep making excuses, and the excuse is the Democrats fucking left the American people, and the Democrats don't work for the working poor or the lower income. And like you said, all the truck driving, gun loving Democrats up in Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania and in the Rust Belt who've been abandoned for the past 30 years, they're like, fuck you haven't done anything for us our whole lives, you've just been paying lip service, we're gonna fucking vote for Trump, fuck it, he's talking our language. And the Democrats can't admit that. They can't just fucking say that, and that's why they're just doomed to failure, and it pisses me off. So, and then as far as education, you're so right with teaching kids, how to think, or what to think, not how to think, because you know what it is, the system, it's not the Democrats or the Republicans, it's the corporations. The corporations don't want critical thinkers, because if we had critical thinkers in this world, we'd be like, why do like 5 people in America own more than the bottom half of America? That's crazy. What the fuck? Oh wow, we can make robots do 90% of our jobs and we don't really even have to work. But if we have critical thinkers in our society, we're going to change the status quo. Once the status quo is changed, the elite and the corporations, the people are benefiting off this fucked up situation. They're going to lose what they have. And the best way to keep us separated is people like me on the West Coast thinking, everyone in Heartland America is racist crazies. And then, you think, everyone on the left coast are liberal nut jobs.
Whack jobs.
Yeah, exactly. And then here we are talking on this podcast, and then, people from all across America are listening to this and like, look, we're having a fucking civil debate and we're on the opposite spectrums, and it can happen.
It does, and it can, and it's not fucking difficult either. And that's the thing. And it's just, it all boils down to nature and psychology. It really does. I mean, anyone listening right now, seriously got to go check out Jordan Peterson and his evaluations of reasons we think things and how we react to things, because it all boils down to social interaction and power structures, and that's how we get into these heated debates. Like, I lost fucking friends during the 2016 election. I made enemies during the 2016 election, and that shit shouldn't fucking happen.
No.
We're all on the same team here. And so, and let me just how I think about it is, so what was I gonna say here? I fucking had it on the tip of my tongue. Just open-minded. Like, people come from all sorts of different backgrounds. Like, I tell you what, on my second day job, I met this guy. Right, he's over here on a student visa. He's from Bangalore, India. His name is Zaid. We all call him Z. He really cool guy. He's like, I think he's 19. Over here on a student visa from Bangalore, India. He's a Sunni Muslim, and he loves Trump. I had no idea. And then we had a meeting one day, and I walk in the room, and this kid's got a "Make America Great Again" hat on.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, holy shit, dude! And I talked to him about it. He's like, yeah, it's just people are crazy. The man knows. He's giving me all these reasons why he loves Trump. And then come to find out, he's telling me about their election going on, or whatever is happening in India over there. They got a guy over there that is basically, they're calling him the Indian Trump, because he's basically doing the same thing over there. And it's kind of like, it boils down to worldviews, because I kind of figure myself as more of a pessimist, but I I try to call it realism, where I don't look at the world and see, oh, it's happy fucking bunnies and rainbows and shit, and then bad shit happens sometimes. The polar fucking opposite. Bad shit fucking happens all the times, and then fucking a rainbow will come out of your fucking shit pool of terribleness happening, and that's where fucking life and beauty and fucking shit happens.
Yeah.
So I think the problem is too many people, we're in Western civilization. We've been industrialized for, 200 years. And especially over here in America and such, we're in a bubble, right? And then you can go even microscopically down into bigger population centers where, kids just grew up and they hung out with, whatever, and they lived on the streets in Chicago or LA or New York City or whatever. And that was kind of their world. And so we have a federal government that's trying to lay out laws for the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and downtown LA, and they're supposed to be the same damn thing. And that's just not how it works. So, and that's a big reason I voted for Trump too, is just the power to the states. The states, there's fucking states for a reason,
Yeah, I agree.
It's because people live differently at different fucking places. Like, hybrid cars are fucking awesome, but if we tried to pass a federal law that said everyone had to drive hybrid cars, who would be fucked? It'd be everyone from my fucking hometown.
Because how could you even make it? If you're if you're 300 miles away from a big city, how can you make it from your house to the big city? Like, it would be impossible.
Exactly. Exactly. And the winters and like in winters and stuff up there, it wouldn't be a very there'd be lots of hectic and probably more fatalities, but it's a case by case basis. The world is not black and white. The world is a mix of shades of gray, and you got to take it by a case by case basis. And too many people go tribal with their beliefs, and they get in these groups and, okay, we're right, and you don't agree with us, you're a racist, or you're a bigot, or you're xenophobic, or you're just afraid, or whatever. And I think we saw that a lot with Hollywood and just the bubbles that I'm talking about, because you have people, these A-list celebrities, that are commenting, and they're just going on these rants and saying, the middle America, these people don't know nothing. It's like, you would not be anything. You would have no money. You would have no job. You would have nothing if it weren't for the people you're talking derogatorily to right now.
Yeah. Well, from Hollywood, a lot of the people in middle America are the consumers of the films.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And I see people that are, people go on the internet and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a big, social justice warrior type. Whatever. And I'm going to share this quote from, Billy Joe Armstrong, and I'm like, okay, Billy Joe Armstrong is a fucking awesome musician. Green Day's the fucking shit. And they're fucking very, they got some good fucking political songs, but Billy Joe Armstrong isn't the fucking top authority on fucking economic imperialism. Okay. Like,
you should do a quote of Chomsky, or,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In your case, like, like Ayn Rand or something.
Yeah. Well, fucking Ayn Rand. Like, I don't fucking go down that.
That's a whole nother podcast. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Cause like I love fucking Billy Joe Armstrong. I love Green Day, but I'm not gonna fucking sit there. I wouldn't fucking even think that I have one shred of fucking worldview in common with the guy, and the same thing with like these. I think that one of the big reasons that so many people voted for Trump wasn't because they were scared for national security. It wasn't because they thought the TPP was the worst trade deal in history. It wasn't because of that. It was because they were sick of being talked down to by social elite, by Hollywood, by making them feel especially the past 8 years, feel like they were pieces of shit for just being fucking average white Joe Schmo fucking guys that, just fucking worked and did fucking shit, and they had their own fucking, their own predilections, their own biases, like everyone does. But the mainstream media and big government made them feel like fucking outcasts in their own backyard. And when Trump came up and said, he said a lot, but and the way he said it made it seem like, hey, you know, you guys don't have to fucking deal with this. You know, it's fucking, everyone is fucking for everyone here. We're trying to make everything as equal as possible. And granted, you know, there's fucking pieces of shit out there that are fucking racist and burning crosses on lawns and are fucking, and don't want fucking everyone to have a fucking fair shot at shit. But 90% of us, we're not fucking like that. You know, no one's fucking like that. And, well, there's people are, but not everyone is like that. And to characterize everyone like they are is just as egregious as those fucking people that are doing that. Mm-hmm. And it's just sad that the state of affairs had come down to that point. But I think that's a big reason why Trump got elected, because it was like, hey, you know, it's okay. Your lifestyle. I don't care if you're gay or you're transgender or what you're doing. It really does not affect me. And all the more power to you for being happy. But some of these groups, they're violently aggressive about that stuff. They're like, we're gonna go fuck up straight white males because they're fucking, you know, xenophobic and shit.
Exactly. So like we were talking about earlier, Peterson, there's that college in Washington, I believe, like Evergreen or something, that the social justice warriors of the far left, they shut the college down because, you know, cultural appropriation or some bullshit. But, you know, that's a whole nother podcast. But kind of like wrapping it up here, but what you were talking about with how only a minority of the Trump supporters are racist or are actually like burning crosses and shit, which I totally agree. But I think the left, the right, the justification, I think it's good that the left has with Trump. He's not calling out those small factions. You know, he's really like, oh yeah, well, whatever, you know, but also to be fair, the left, they're not calling out the extreme elements of Antifada and the extreme elements of the social justice warriors who are shutting down schools because of, like, you know, because people want to speak their own mind, which isn't that why people go to college, to hear diverse opinions, you know, and then they're pissed that they're hearing diverse. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, both sides, once again, there's extreme elements on both sides, and the main extreme parts of those sides aren't calling out their own extremes. They're only saying, look over there, they have extreme elements, and the other side, look over there, you know, and it's both sides have these extreme elements, and both sides need to call it out, and they're not, man. And it's like, that's the problem. But like, we got to wrap it up. This was really good conversation. We got to have you back on in the future once you record some more music, maybe with a band. But we got to talk about a specific, because see, we had a civil dialogue about, you know, the crazy world, but now we got to have like a specific, like a little debate about an actual issue or something. I think that would be fun. I'd be more than happy, man. Happy. Definitely. So yeah, record some more music, or, you know, once you hop on with a band, dude, shoot me an email, get back and contact me. We'll totally have you back on. This was really fun. So, but before I let you go, Mitch, what is the best way for people to find your music online?
Okay, you can go to mitchness.bandcamp.com, soundcloud.com/mitchnessmusic, and facebook.com/Mitch Ness Music. Pretty simple and straightforward.
Cool. Yeah, totally. All the social media stuff there. And also, you said you did like a political commentary. So if someone wants to check that out, what is that? And of course, I'll have all the links like in the description for most of the videos. So where's your political, like, what was that called again?
Oh, yeah, totally. If anyone's interested in that, I haven't done anything since before the election. I mean, you could just go in there and look at some of the stuff I was talking about. It's on Facebook, just Facebook/political correctness.
Cool. So, awesome. Nice. Yeah, it's always fun to go back and check out some of those videos, you know, and then be like, oh man, like I had it pretty on point, or whoa, I was really wrong about my assessment there.
There's both in the collection.
Exactly. Yeah, so you know, that's awesome. So yeah, and who knows, maybe in the future you might get that, you know, dusted off and go back and post some more, you know, maybe next selection or something.
Well, you know, yeah, if something grinds my gears enough.
Oh, speaking of grinding gears, the Peter Griffin meme.
Yeah, that's how it feels like these days.
Dude, that's the world we live in, man. Well, hey, thanks for coming on and letting me grind some of my gears and shit, you know. So
thank you, Michael. It was
definitely. Thanks, man. And here's one more by Mitch Ness. This is Cottonmouth by Mitch Ness.
Well, right then she said, drop dead and go to hell, 'cause I don't care about anybody that isn't myself. And that's why I replied, I'm just a product of the time that I spent trying to find some life inside this shell. I've gotten used to the thoughts, though I just want them to stop. I get a little more lost with every capsule I pop. My mom, she was shocked way back then when I'd get caught. I was smoking pot. All I did was smoke pot, she thought. Oh, she thought. And right then he asked, what the fuck is my problem? Is it too much to handle? Can't you man up and solve them? Oh, but I've attempted often, they show no signs of stopping. I've got nowhere else to turn when I have got no other option. I've tried, oh God, I've tried only to find that I can't hide behind that high and all my apathy I've gotten used to the fact that I am all that I lack. If I don't clean up my act, then I am not gonna last. I'm done, I am cashed, I am down for the count. And I keep looking, I look and I look, but can't find a way out. A way out. And I really don't know what my problem is. I really don't know what to say. I really don't know what my problem is. I really don't know. I really don't know. But sometimes she says, drop dead and go to hell, like I don't care about anybody that isn't myself. She's right all too often, and I show no signs of stopping. I've got nowhere else to turn, 'cause I have got no other option. It's done now, it's cash, but I'm pinching more out. Good thing I bought a bottle to combat the cotton mouth. Back when I was young, I figured that when I grew up, I would just do what I want. All I do is smoke pot, I thought.
All right, let's give it up for Mitch Ness coming on the Punk Rock and Politics podcast. That was fun. That was a really good debate. I'm gonna have to have him on in the future because we were able to really go back and forth and get in the weeds about the past election. It'd be fun to talk about, like I was saying, like a specific issue, maybe like debate on something, you know, because he's more to the right, more like libertarian, and I'm more to the left, and you know, kind of like a socialist libertarian thing, I guess I am. I don't know. But it would be a fun debate between me and him on a specific issue where we can kind of get down to the nitty gritty and discuss things. So I think that would be fun. So definitely want to say thanks to Mitch Ness for coming on. It's always fun when I get a Trump supporter on here. You know, look, it's totally possible you can have left and right come together, talk and joke around and listen to music and actually have productive conversations. And that's what I want here on the podcast. So speaking of that, thanks for listening to the podcast and welcome to Open Mic's Last Call, the very end of the podcast. I'm so proud of you for making it this far in the show. So so talking about the podcast and everything, basically the next 2 weeks I'm taking a vacation, so I'm not going to be posting a live show or news show. I'm thinking about posting like a 2 best of episodes where I'll kind of have some interviews and talking with previous bands, play some of their music and just mix it up. I think I'm going to do that for 2 weeks. So I know there might be some people who just kind of started listening to the podcast recently. Maybe they haven't heard some of the old bands, the old music, and some of the old conversations because it's not up to date. I know on political podcasts, people don't usually go back and listen to older stuff because, you know, especially with Trump in office, things move so fast. Especially the first podcast was recorded in 2016 and, you know, the end of December. So things totally change and they go so quick, so I know a lot of people, and people are very limited on time, so I'm going to go back, get some of the cool little snippets and some of the fun songs that I liked from these bands, pull them back and play them, and do a little highlight reel for the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to be hanging out and relaxing and doing a little family reunion with everyone, so for the next 2 weeks, and relaxing. So and also I'm really going to be working on promotion and trying to get the podcast out to more people. I'm going to be looking for more bands to interview, looking for this summer going out for live shows, interviewing live bands. So if you know a band, please have them send us an email, tweet us at PRP_podcast, or, even if you're just a listener, you don't really have anything to say, shoot us a tweet, PRP_podcast. It's cool to hear from our listeners, get any feedback, or go follow us on Twitter, check us out there, or on Facebook, it's Punk Rock and Politics Podcast. It'd be good, but mainly, really focus on, if you know anyone who would be interested in the podcast, share the podcast, point them in this direction, or really, if you know any bands or musicians who would like to come on and share their music and talk about politics, send them over here, or shoot them our email, or send us an email and give us their contact information, whatever. But let's really focus on promoting this podcast. And so as we wrap up the summer with these summer concerts and everything, doing some live shows, which are going to be awesome. I have some really cool live shows planned to put interviews and maybe shoot some live footage on Facebook so you guys can watch live. But let's really focus on promotion and sharing the podcast, because like I said before a million times, the more people who are listening to the podcast, the more promotion each band has, and the more audience that they could listen to, and potentially these fans are able to find all these awesome bands. And so it's really about connecting the artists with all these fans and these people who want to hear new music, connect them with awesome bands that are here and they're political and they want to share their awesome music. So thanks for everything that you've been doing, everyone who has sent emails and text messages or DMs and everything on Twitter. Thanks so much, and keep coming back and listening to the podcast, and we'll check you out soon. See you in 3 weeks, unless if anything crazy happens, then I might have to post something. But if not, you'll hear some best of and check out some of the good stuff that we've had on here and all these awesome bands. So thanks so much for checking it out, and we'll check you out in a few weeks. Peace out. Thanks for checking out Punk Rock and Politics. If you enjoyed the show and the information brought to you, please subscribe and share the podcast. It helps us here at Punk Rock and Politics, but more importantly, it helps the featured bands gain exposure. Also, if you know any bands or musicians who would like to join the political mosh pit and have their music featured on the Punk Rock and Politics podcast, please email us at punkrockandpolitics@gmail.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. And rock on, political junkies.
I think all our society is run by insane people for insane objectives.
Doing a better job of talking to each other. The left hand now knows what the right hand is doing.
Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it.